So this is the article in question, is it? The small box deposited with the pawnbroker by Mr. McGilder 2 months ago. Yeah, apparently so. It does look like the one in the picture. Although, looking at it from the side, it has like quite a unique form. And on the night of Mr. Windyback's murder, the only item on the shelves that was touched by whoever broke into the shop.
Quick! Let's open it and see what's inside.
Like a box full of surprises. Whoa. Good gracious! This is no ordinary box, it seems. Oh my, how are we gonna meet, Scoppy's, cousin right over here? Scoppy's lost cousin? He does seem pretty technological. Like, this box right over here is made of the same materials. Wow. Although in truth, I had an inkling that might be the case. It would appear that the box houses a miniature music box moment. Ah, called it! I had a feeling that we were dealing with a music box for somebody to use the music box disc on. Yeah, Graydon would definitely need a box like that for the music disc. You know, speaking of the music disc, it has been a while, but I have been told that these music discs are actually pretty small in comparison, like to what I was thinking of before. So a box like that would fit a music disc. Then, is it too much to expect? I think it would be reasonable to assume that it is a device for the playback of this disc, my lord. So, here we have the means to play back Mr. McGilder's disc, deposited at Windyback's at much the same time. Not strictly correct, my lord. It was not McGilder's disc. It was the disc of his victim in the omnibus. But why, for heaven's sake? Are we to understand that the brickmaker was trying to sell this music box disc to Mr. McGilder? A thought is occurring to me, but maybe this disc doesn't actually contain music. I wonder if it contains some voice recording, maybe. That would be pretty important. Maybe for government importance. Maybe some government-related stuff. Teacher. I have an answer right over here. I believe the answer will become clear if we listen to the music on the disc, my lord. Yes, very well. Let the court now listen to this curious disc at last. Okay then. Wait, my lord. Good grief. What's the meaning of this, Inspector? The music box and the disc are... well, they're related to the case. Really? Is that so? No need to spoil the summer atmosphere in a courtroom with some silly bit of music. Objection. This disc may very well have motivated the culprit in this case to commit murder. Clearly, there's every chance that it's fundamentally important to understanding what happened. The investigation has no objection. But no. That piece of evidence is police property now. You can't... Clearly, Scotland Yard has some vested interest here. But it is policy of this prosecutor to leave new avenues unexplored. Yeah, you go, Zeeks. And you, Inspector, have no jurisdiction here to prevent that from happening. This is the courtroom. It is our turf, the attorney's turf, Zeke's and Leonoski's. No further delays, please. Play the disc. Okay then. Let's see. Okay. What on earth? Okay, well, it's definitely not music. I was thinking that maybe it was somebody's voice, that maybe they're offering information on this disc. Could it be Morse code, though? That's certainly not what I would call music. No. It's just the same note playing over and over again in an irregular sequence. Mr. Graydon? Oh, are we gonna have like an early breakdown right over here? This really is priceless. After all that, the music box is broken. Broken? Can't be, can it? Nah, I do have my own ideas here in regards to that box. It's I'm gonna say that it's not broken. And it's playing really well. Well, obviously. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if the officer sent to fetch and didn't drop it on the way back to the courtroom. Oh, with much regret, I feel the court must accept that this music box offers little in the way of clues. Are you ready to move on, Consul? Come on. Yeah, alright. It does sound as though it's completely broken, but is it? Could this music emanating from the music box possibly be a new clue? Music, quote-unquote music. I'm gonna say that it can offer a clue. I believe that it could be relevant, my lord. Good lord! But how can it be? It's an abomination, Consul. Mere noise. I fail to see how it can have any meaning whatsoever. It does sound strange, I agree, but there's one thing bothering me. While Graydon stands there, chortling victoriously, the inspector beside him has a rather telling expression on his face. It's as if Gregson recognizes the sound, as if he's familiar with it somehow. And that's making him appear extremely on edge. Gregson, what are you doing? You're not gonna reveal something that I'm not gonna like, will you? If that's the stance of the defense, my Nipponese friend, answer me this. Oh? Just what relevance do you propose this woeful charming has on this case? It's the defense's belief that the sound emanating from this music box is an unusual genre of music. Not supposed to be music. You know, I do have a sneaking suspicion that this is a very unusual genre of music, way ahead of its time. Like, do you hear you don't know this, Yonosuke, but like in the 21st century, there's music like this, like bopping everywhere. Discos, well, actually, no, discos are not even gonna exist until the 70s or 60s or something like that. But in the 21st century, people are gonna be dubbing and then they're gonna be stepping all over the floor with this kind of music. It could be an unusual genre of music that none of us are familiar with. Yeah, Graydon surely is vibing with that kind of answer. He is vibing to the music. Counsel, would you care to elaborate on that remark? Well, it could be a new style of music that's about to take the world by storm, for example. Yeah, I mean, remember Mozart? Nobody liked his music at first, but after a while, yeah, I'm liking it. I'm liking this random arrangement of keynotes and such. I think not, Counsel. Such monotonous nonsense could be pleasing to one's ear, surely. Yeah, give it some time. It will drill into your skull long enough until the point where you're gonna get insane. Well said, my lord. And here's to my learned friends seeing their remarks' true meaning. Ugh. Okay. The music, which might actually be the point. Let's see if you grasp the question better next time around. What relevance do you propose this woeful chiming has on this case? Okay. It's the defense's belief that the sound emanating from this music box is, and while I am sad to hear that nobody wants to accept my idea of this being our new genre of music for the next years, I'm definitely gonna have to say that this is not music at all. Just because this is a music box, it doesn't necessarily mean the sounds we're hearing are music. Look at that. The smile vanished from Raiden's lips as soon as I said it. Yeah. I'm on the right lines here. I must be.
Making deductions based on how people react to what you say. You're acting just like Hardy,
Objection!
The sounds we're hearing aren't necessarily music. Oh, now that you've told us what they are not, I'm sure the court would like to hear what they are. Do enlighten us, my Nipponese friend. Well, surely you have an idea in mind, because if not, it will be the death of your ill-formed argument. Exactly. The music box is clearly broken. Refusing to accept that fact is pure foolishness. And they've got me. I don't know what the answer is. Yet. Well, I'm thinking of an answer when I gave it before. The question is, though, do they know? Like, when did people start using Morse code? Like, I don't remember. Should I check that out? Hold on.
Uno? I just examined the music box very thoroughly. And I'm very certain that it's not broken at all.
Really?
Really? The it's made, it can only produce a single note anyway.
Oh. I see. It can only produce one single note. So, yeah, okay. So, even the music box itself was created for one single purpose. Well, I guess it actually makes sense, because, again, music box discs cannot work without their proper music boxes. Again, very inefficient in my eyes, but I guess so. I guess that's technology too, yeah, in the early days. But yeah, like if this disc is not music, then in that case, the music box was created for a particular purpose, to create that single note. Thank you, Iris. Alright, well, if the music box isn't broken, it must mean that the sound it's producing have some significance that isn't musical. Ah, could it be... Is that what these sounds are?
Something's just stuck me, Nuno. I feel like recently, in the past few hours even, I've heard another sound very much like the one this music box makes.
Hmm? Another sound very much like this one? What do you mean? Yeah, it's a familiar sound. Actually, Iris, it's just thinking exactly the same thing. I could have to press the fence for an answer. If your assertion is that the sound produced by the... Oh, okay, that's what they are thinking. Okay. Seems that we're gonna be getting some help from a particular person in the court. I know what person they're talking about. A particular lady that we know. Then what the devil is a council? All the evidence we've seen so far, all the testimony we've heard, it's all pointed to one single answer. The prosecution demands that my learned Nipponese friend present proof. Now. Tangible proof of this latest wild speculation. Alright then. This could be the best chance I'm going to get to fight back in this trial. And if I'm right, it's going to join all the dots together. Dots? The evidence that explains the true nature of the sounds of this music box disc is... evidence? Evidence. I could actually show this. Contains an article about government secrets being leaked to foreign agencies. Government secrets. That could be the true nature of the sounds of the music. I was thinking that maybe first we're gonna have to to tell them that this is Morse code with some evidence. Let me see. Not the stereoscope. Shums. Okay. In which case, I'm definitely gonna be going with this.
Take that!
Take that! Today's paper council? The headline is Pawnbroker perishes in Pig Purse Plunder. Hardly supportive of your case. Although quite a tongue twister, must say. Pawnbroker perishes in Pig Purse Plunder. Pawnbroker perishes in Pig Purse Plunder. No, my lord, it's not... maybe we shouldn't focus on the tongue twisters here. I was hoping you would look a little further down that page. Further down? Ministry Mode. Classified secrets may have been leaked overseas from Ministry of Justice. Exactly. Yeah, this is a very serious matter. You investigated at the highest level, I understand. I have heard that international transmissions along supposedly secure lines are somehow being intercepted and leaked to various other countries. And presumably, those transmissions are in the form of wire telegrams. Of course. Juror number 5. Your input, please. Yeah. I want to hear some input from the jurors. Especially number 5. Stop. Me, sir? Whatever is the matter? You told the court before that you worked at the same communication station as Mr. Graydon, did you not? Yes, that's correct. And the particular station where you work deals with government communications and newspaper reports? Oh, yeah. We're not your run-of-the-mill communication station at all. Our work is extremely important. Then tell me, is this not a very, very familiar sound to you? You don't mean to say, is it? Yep. Basically, it produces the same sound that you are producing with that device right over there. The one that you've been focusing on so much this past few hours. That's right, madame. It bears more than a passing resemblance to the sound made by your telegraph machine as you tap it. I believe it's called Morse code? I don't believe it! Now correct me if I'm wrong, but when it comes to leaking telegrams from government departments, there could be nobody more perfectly placed than a highly skilled communications officer. Are you suggesting that a music box disc is... Yep. It is a disc that contains Morse code with some very important information. Maybe actually government secrets that might actually be leaked through countries by a communications officer. And that communication officer is... Bum bum, pointing my finger. Contains stolen government secrets in Morse code. Yep, there you have it. Like, here we have a possibility for a motive for why Graydon did all this in the first place. Order! Order! Please, everyone, order! But this is high treason, Council! Deserving of capital punishment! This is actually quite huge. Yeah, it's actually quite a huge... Like, this case is turning into one of huge scales right over here. With important stuff. We're going from murder, which, again, we shouldn't devalue murder and such, but government secrets? In the eyes of the law and government and countries and such? I mean... yeah. Too much new vocabulary. What is this treason? And what is capital punishment? I just love that the mouse is also reading and follows the pages. The sort of words I'd half expect you to know. For our sovereign government's confidential information, hostile nations would surely pay almost any price. Yep. And on that night 2 months ago, that was the very negotiation that was taking place inside the omnibus. But in the end, McGilder perished, and all important disc lay unclaimed in a pawnbrokery. My word! In which case, whoever stole that information in the first place must surely have been beside himself with worry. Because if the disc were to be discovered before it found its way out of the country, it would reveal an act of high treason punishable by death. So the culprit had no choice but to retrieve it. In order to do that, he would have to gain entry to the pawnbrokery illegally in the middle of the night. Yeah, that would be the reason why they couldn't just wait like another day or two. They had to do it at that point. So what they would do, they would steal it at night. Because the article left behind by Mr. McGilder would incriminate him too much if he got into the wrong hands. Isn't that right, Mr. Graydon? You think I've been stealing government secrets? Preposterous! Absolutely preposterous! So in response to the defense's accusation, you claim complete innocence, do you? Of course I do. I've had to stand here in silence while that pretentious foreign lawyer has been prowling away.
Objection!
And then by all means, counter the charges, sir. Alright, there you go. Now we have Zeke's on the side of finding the truth, no longer denying Ridonosuke and such. He wants to figure it out as well. The prosecution demands the witness testifies in response to the accusations brought by the defense. Delighted, I assure. The witness is reminded that the crime under scrutiny is this trial. The witness is reminded that the crime under scrutiny in this trial is the murder of the pawnbroker, Mr. Windyback. That being a most flagitious offense, for which the law of this land sanctions a capital punishment. But a heinous act of high treason is no less a serious crime. I urge you to bear that in mind as you testify, Mr. Graydon. So then, let us proceed. You may... What? the hell are you two guys doing here? You gotta let us have a rabbit and a pork here, governor. We got things to say. I beg your pardon? Who do you think you are? Who the fuck are you? Do I remember you guys? You seem like pretty forgettable characters that I've never seen before. Yeah, like who are they? Name's Nash Skulking. Occupation is professional baddie. Name's Ringo Skulking. But we ain't baddies enough to sell out our motherland. Okay, well, nice to meet you two. That's right. We're what they call the Three Skulking Brothers. Are you kidding me? We're doing this shit again? Bad timing, fellas. Very bad timing. Okay, so I guess they are going to be part of the cross-examination as well. A mere communications officer couldn't possibly steal confidential government information. Besides, the sounds produced by that music box aren't even Morse code. It was some low-class brickmaker negotiating with Mr. McGilded anyway, was it not? I've no relation to the man. Look, all we done is break into the gaff the other night, like what we told us to do. If we'd known there was dodgy government secrets involved, we wouldn't have touched it. Mr. and Mr. Skulking. One Mr. will do, governor. What's up? Do I take it that you now admit to the crime? That on another question, you did indeed gain entry to the premises illegally. And moreover, you did so as a part of your free, in complete collaboration with Mr. Graydon here. We did, Gov. We did. Quieten down, please. What say you to that, Mr. Graydon? I have no idea what these two ruffians are referring to. Yo, the Rotter, getting us mixed up in all this monkey business? Okay, seriously, who the fuck are you? Oh, okay. I am partially joking right over here, but I do have to ask, what are their relationship with Graydon? Like, for real? Where did Raiden... Standing here, I realize... Man, that was such a fun game, like years ago when I played it. Metal Gear Rising with Revengeance. I have known it way before the memes. I have known that game all too well before the memes. But yeah, like, where did Graydon even get these two bozos from? Why would they hire them instead of more professional people? Like, what is Graydon gonna do to them if they fail in this? Are they friends? He never said nothing about no government secrets. It was supposed to be a straight-up job. What about the geezer whose shop it was, eh? Poor old bloke didn't have to die, did he? Nice to know who your friends are. Whatever these men say, I deny the accusations. Indeed. Well, I certainly wasn't expecting this little music box to become so significant in the proceedings. However, as it has, I will admit it to the court record as evidence. Yeah, okay. We didn't even have it in the court record. I mean, I should examine it some more and see if there's anything else to it. Actually, hold on. Let me go here. I like to have some music while this is happening right over here. So let me examine this a little bit. So we have this Former Gilded. See how the Former Gilded disc sits in the music box? The man deposited at Winniebacks. See how the Former Gilded disc sits in the music box? The man deposited at Winniebacks. It couldn't be a more perfect fit.
So there's no question then. The disc was designed to be played in this music box.
Yet despite that, the sounds it produces are neither musical nor do they appear to have any meaning. It just doesn't make any sense.
I wonder if perhaps there's more to this music box than meets the eye. Maybe we haven't discovered all its secrets yet.
Okay. Anything here? What is this? Oh,
What is it, Runa?
is that like a button or is that part of the design? I just noticed something about this music box. Looks like the bottom of it opens up as well.
You're right. Come on then. What are you waiting for? Let's open it.
Alright then, here goes. Oh. So it's a two-parter, eh? Okay. I see. Yeah. If we are to think of this box as something that is used for government secrets, then of course they were gonna have like a secret compartment to have. Who knows? Maybe the other side, like the first side that we were listening to, like that disc doesn't really have anything important. But if we were to, oh, okay. So you would need like a second disc for this. Cause I don't know, like like you could have this part play the exact same disc, but it would make no difference. But if we were to have a second disc for this particular part, yeah, that could actually have like a government secrets in comparison to the first one.
Look at that. There's another movement on the other side.
So does that mean we can set another disc to play back on this side?
Yeah, I think so. It looks like the two movements are linked together.
Linked together? They are linked?
So if you had the disc, they both play it back at the same time.
Oh, okay. So it's not exactly two-parter, but well, actually, kind of is a two-parter, but rather you play both discs at the same time, and they actually offer something. Whereas if you only have like one disc, it basically tells you nothing. Actually, it could be like one of those games where you complete a word by putting what was it called? Like Hangman's game? Yeah, I think it was called Hangman's game or something like that. Like you complete the word with the letters, and you need both discs in order to complete the full information. So we need that second disc. Okay. In which case we could definitely use that disc that we have. Well, actually, no. That disc that we have right over here is the disc that is inside. Unless. Actually, no. Hold on a second. This disc was inside the music box from the start. No, wait, that would be stupid. Hold on. I think I'm confusing something over here. Let's go through this first.
Hold it!
So is this newspaper headline accurate? Government communications are being intercepted? I mean, you are a communications officer. You would know about this sort of stuff. How could I possibly know? What do you mean by that? Any important government communications are handled by high-level officers, by specialists. General members of staff from the station where I work would never be trusted with sensitive information. No, stop. Must say something. Stop! Uh-oh. Let me guess. Juror number 5. We regular communication station officers aren't as lowly as you're being led to believe. A team of us are responsible for setting up and testing the telegraphs used by the ministry. And Mr. Graydon is the team leader. That's fascinating. Graydon is a highly skilled operator. Stop. Currently in presence of idol. Stop. Oh. So now we learned that juror number 5 is actually a fan of Graydon, eh? Well, just brace yourself, juror number 5. He is no longer gonna be your idol after this. So you had access to the equipment used for these confidential communications, Mr. Graydon. Well, what of it? The transmissions are always made behind closed doors, so they cannot be heard. And in any case, all messages are sent in ciphered. Normal employees couldn't possibly understand them. Oh no, stop. Must say something, stop. Mr. Graydon regularly attends meetings with Ministry technicians and the Ministry communications team. He assists them in ensuring that there are no errors in important international communications. And he's received the top prize at the cipher cracking convention 5 years in a row now. That's fascinating. the more German 5 talks, the more Graydon is sweating here. He is going to be sweating buckets the more that woman talks. Graydon is highly skilled operator. Stop. Currently in presence of idol. Stop. Well, your idol would appreciate it if you keep your mouth shut. She should really pick her idols more carefully. Yeah. I tell you, this lawyer's accusations are completely unfounded. Besides, the sounds produced by that music box are even Morse code.
Hold it!
You would say that because you are a specialist. You would recognize that. They're not. To anyone with a brain, that would be blatantly apparent on listening to that music box for even a few seconds. Well, it is true that it didn't have as much of a rhythm. Like remember when juror number 5 was typing on the telegraph device for Morse code, she was tapping it really, really fast. When you do Morse code, you do it like really, really fast. That one, Oh, of course. Surely it cannot be that my learned friend is unfamiliar with Morse code. Ouch. I was genuinely shocked at my ignorance. Yeah, you know, earlier in your career, you could have just pulled the, well, I just came from Japan, so I would know, but yeah, it's been 2 months. You gotta keep up with technology, son. You'll be more than happy to understand the basics for you, sir. A lesson? Here in court? Alright, kids, listen up. Morse code is a continuous series of 2 distinct tones. Tones, you say? 2 distinct? Yes, a short dot and a long dash. By combining those in different ways, you construct letters. Ah, okay, yeah, of course. I remember the dot and the dash thing, but yeah, I think that what we heard were only dots. Huh. Would that mean that the second disc would actually contain dashes? Okay. I see. For example, this is A. And this is B. But when you listen to the sound produced by this music box, you only hear one tone, don't you? But it sounds so familiar. The rhythm of it is the same in everything. But there's no discernible meaning to this apparently random sequence of sounds. So your assertion is fundamentally flawed. This is not Morse code. No! Really, you shouldn't be so surprised. What did I tell you? That music box is nothing but a worthless piece of scrap. Perhaps you might consider studying your subject matter before casting aspersions in future. Stop. Nothing to say, but stop.
Oh, it's so frustrating, isn't it?
Iris, sweetie.
I mean, if the government secrets were somehow being leaked using the music box, so many other things would slot into place so nicely.
Yeah, that's true. Could there still be something? Was Iris actually giving us a hint towards this, maybe? Yeah, would it really be impossible to use this music box somehow to play Morse code? Since impossible, give it a... I wouldn't say that it's impossible. Like, can we actually tell them about the second part of this box? Let me see. There's still every possibility that this music box was instrumental in leaking of government secrets. That's the belief of the defense, at least.
Objection!
Does it please you in some way, my Nipponese friend, to repeat the same line of argument ad infinitum? It's already been established that to be Morse code, 2 tones are required. Dots and dashes. Yes, I am well aware of that, my learned racist friend. Then what? Well, it would appear the defense has a hypothesis to put forward. You better present your idea at once, Consul. How do you propose that this music box, which appears to produce only a single tone, could have been used to cipher secret messages into Morse code? Okay. Let me actually be careful about this. First, I wanna open this. Okay, well, we already went through this dialogue, didn't we? Yeah, we already went through this. Let me see. And then, present this. Got it! Good gracious! What am I looking at here? Another movement on the other side of the music box? What? It appears, my lord, that the 2 movements are linked together. In other words, you can put 2 discs in this music box, and the sounds of both will play at the same time. Yeah, basically. The reason why the sounds that we heard before didn't sound exactly like Morse code was because, well, it was incomplete. Apparently, this box would need 2 discs in order to complete the Morse code. Good heavens! As the court has heard, Morse code comprises of 2 tones, a short dot and a long dash. With a second disc in place, this music box could be used to generate Morse code and convey a message. This is beyond a joke. I'm sorry. This poor excuse for a lawyer has absolutely no evidence to support his claims. And of course, if my learned friend were able to present the court with a second disc, that would be another matter. Well, yeah, see, that's really the problem, because if I'm thinking that we put this music box disc inside of it, we don't really have the second disc, sadly. As far as I'm aware. I cannot at the moment. It might remind the court that, as the witness has pointed out, he was not the one in the omnibus with me gilded 2 months ago, striking a deal over the disc or discs. Indeed. That was Mr. Mason, the brickmaker. Exactly. I had nothing whatsoever to do with it. Though it has holes, I must admit the argument presented by the defense has much promise. I believe the cross-examination should continue. And the link between Graydon and the victim of the omnibus case must be there somewhere. But I haven't found it yet.
Oh dear. It looks like you need to give your argument more strength right now.
You will reiterate your testimony if you please, Mr. Graydon. Okay. Well, we do need the second disc. We do need a second disc. I wonder where we can find it.
Hold it!
So 2 months ago in that omnibus, McGilda killed the brickmaker and stole the disc. Mr. Mason was a single man with almost nothing to his name. It seems he lived in an artisan quarter some years ago, but people there remember little about him. That doesn't make sense though, does it? How would a humble brickmaker come to require secret government information? Yeah, that is true. Unless they were part of, unless they were not a normal brickmaker. How indeed. There must have been somebody else involved behind the scenes in all of this. Somebody who acquired the disc and gave it to Mr. Mason, in order to take it to the meeting with McGilda and negotiate a deal. Dear me. You may have it in for me, sir, but I assure you, I have far more class than that. No brickmaker from an artisan quarter and this well-to-do communications officer. If only I could find some evidence to link the two of them together. Yeah. I can definitely see Graydon and, You know, I really, like, only now I'm questioning why the hell did Graydon go by a second name? I guess to protect his identity and all that and make it difficult for us to find him. Like, if he were involved in that. So he gave himself the name Eggert Benedict, so I guess there's that. Maybe there is some other reason for why he gave himself a second name, I don't know, but that's not important. The important thing is that, okay, Graydon and McGilda, I can see them connected, but I don't really see... Did we even establish a motive for why McGilda had connections with the brickmaker? Why was the brickmaker a part of the negotiation from 2 months ago, and then he got killed? It's really making me question this. If you have nothing more to add on that note, let us return to the witness testimony. Okay. Now we're going for Nash right over here. Maybe he's gonna be able to say some stuff. Like Mr. Graydon told you to do, you mean? That's it, Gov. Who else? Hey. Silly me, thought he was just popping over for a natter after all them years. But rather a dodgy job for us. Hey, Ash? I'm just realizing, like, looking at Nash right over here, I noticed that his model, like his mouth, is going inside his mustache and such. Like the mustache is like a completely separate part of the model. Like it is an object, and then the mouth is going inside the mustache. Let me stop you there, Mr. Skulking. After all them years, you say. Do you mean to tell me that Mr. Graydon is an acquaintance of yours? Excuse me. Hey, somebody has a nice reaction over here. With bouncing cheeks. We're the sociable kind of baddies, you know. Sure, let's say Graydon's an old child. What about you, Shorty? Is something wrong, Mr. Skulk? Eh? No, the other Mr. Skulking. Oh, what? Who, me? When your brother was testifying just now, he said something that seemed to cause you to react. Oh, I was just remembering the old days, that's all. We used to have a right old laugh together way back when. Together. With Mr. Grady, you mean?
Yep, Flash. I mean, you look at him now in his fancy whistle and flute, and you wouldn't Adam and Eve it. But when he was young, he was from the poor part of town, just like us.
Ah, I see. Okay, so that's the kind of relationship that you guys have. Okay. Is that so?
He was always a leery one. He had the brains. He had the savvy. Always coming up with smart ideas like what would never have gone through our heads.
Good, blimey.
Ain't that the truth?
Truth. I like I like the way Nash says like pronounces truth there. That's how I do it sometimes. Remember Milverton and Mr. Skulking's milk run? Milverton and Skulking's milk run?
That was our corker, eh?
Saving it till after the trial. Your reminiscing has no place in this court. And neither does your fruit.
Oi!
The geezer asked us a question, didn't he?
And we was answering. Yeah, we ain't done nothing wrong.
Well, that is true. Milverton and Skulking. Nevertheless, the court is not prepared to accompany you on your trip down memory lane. Counsel, can we turn our attention back to the testimony, please? Could that sentimental story be relevant somehow? Well, we're asking this now, so it's gotta be. Let's add it to the testimony. I mean, why not? Just so we can see. My lord. Yes, Counsel? The brother's last sentimental statement could hold pivotal information relating to this case. Very well, Counsel. I will permit the brothers to supplement their testimony with that detail. Briefly, I hasten to add. Okay. Say no more. Skulking's never skulked. So, either the whole idea with them being like acquaintances for a very long time, that's an idea. A second thing though is this. Milverton and Skulking's milk run. Milk run? I'm sure I'm going to regret asking, but what exactly was that? Some kind of business? Just a little scheme we had going back when we was youngsters. Bit of fun, really.
Delivering fresh milk to the locals. That's what it was all about.
Okay, well that's nice. Sounds alarmingly legitimate. There must be a catch. I suppose since we're here, I should ask them to elaborate. But on what? The business model? The business model. I do have to wonder about that, but I am more curious about the business name, though. So this business was just a bit of fun, you say? Cause Milverton definitely has some connection to something. Like it says, Milverton is skulking. We got the skulking part because it is those guys' names. Could it be that Milverton is Graydon's name? So it's not even Graydon is his real name. It's Milverton. And it was just yourselves and Mr. Graydon involved. Yep, that's it. Milverton and Skulking's milk run, was it?
Yep, that's it.
And where did the Milverton part come from? Alright. I thought a clever clocks like you would work that one out. Huh? Enough of this. How much longer are we expected to listen to this drill? Don't interrupt me. You do not accept anything these two witnesses are saying? Tell me, why is it that it was only at the mention of the name Milton they decided to interject? Because it's because you don't want us to know about your actual name, Milton?
It weren't the happiest of homes that one come from. Yeah, his old man was struggling for money so much, his wife walked out on him. She took the name Graydon then, see. But Ash will always be a Milverton to us.
Okay.
Milverton. So that used to be your surname, did it?
Of course not. This is all bunkum. I've been a Graydon since I was born. Do you really think you can rely on the testimony of these two thieves? You're the communications officer attached to the civil service. As such, your personal details will have be thoroughly checked at the time of your appointment. It would be a very simple matter indeed to subpoena those records, Mr. Graydon.
Well, it would appear that Mr. and Mrs. Culkin's testimony has been reliable. For once. You were born Ashley Milverton, then. Is that correct?
Very well. Yes.
Okay, so Ashley Graydon was once Ashley Milverton. That information can change things. It can turn out to be extremely important.
In what way, though?
All of a sudden, we seem to be up our necks in a serious matter of national security. Although all this talk about interception of secret government's messages is still just conjecture at this stage.
Yeah, we're actually just toying with the court right over here when it comes to this. We're dangling the idea. We don't really have like that much of a connection to the government secrets yet. If we had the second test, then yeah, maybe.
It would explain a number of things though, wouldn't it? The negotiation Genie overheard on the omnibus 2 months ago, and the break-in at Windybags. But the trouble is, it wasn't Mr. Graydon in the omnibus with McGill did.
No, that was Mr. Mason, the brickmaker who was so horribly murdered.
Wait a minute. Don't I remember like like something from that case like 2 months ago? I don't think that we actually have it with us. We had it in the court record at some... Or, wait, hold on a second. Isn't that on the staff of Graydon's? Well, no, I guess no longer Graydon, now we're calling him Milverton. Christ, from Edgar to Graydon to Milverton, how many times are you gonna make me say like completely different names over here? But yeah. Wasn't it like his staff had like an M on it? Yeah. Which would tell us that his name is actually Milverton. But hold on, I was also thinking that maybe there was something like 2 months ago, like a piece of evidence that had an M on it, like 2 months ago. Either it was 2 months ago, or maybe I'm thinking of the staff of Milverton's.
If only there was some link between the two men somehow.
I know. Mr. Graydon's testimony seems to be as watertight as ever. I wonder if the key to us making headway with the crowd.
Actually, hold on a second. We do have this. Notes collated by Mr. Sato about the McGill case. Let me examine this. Hold on a second. His name was Mason Milverton. Okay, I see now. Yeah, so the brickmaker was called Milverton. I see. Okay then. I guess we have our connection right over here. Hey. Maybe. Yeah. The brickmaker, like Mason, and the Milverton right over here, Ashley Milverton, they could be related. They are both blondes, that's for sure. Could be those two brothers. Okay. In which case, let me... Let me see. Where can I use, like, the notes on? Oops. Damn it. Okay. So, maybe we can connect some dots right over here. But let me see what statement. You have no relation to that man. Yeah, we'll see about that. We'll see about that like right now.
Objection!
Mr. Ashley Middleton, tell me, why did you try to hide your former name from the court? Yeah. Now I can see why he's hiding even that name from us. Because he was fearing that this would connect him to the case from 2 months ago. Because I haven't gone by that name for years. It means nothing to me. Nah, I don't think that's the real explanation at all. The truth is, you had a reason to hide that name. Explain yourself, please, counsel. I have here the notes from the omnibus case, my lord. And as we all know, the victim, the man who we know understand to have been negotiating with McGilded. Yes, Mr. Mason, the brickmaker? That's right. Only Mason wasn't his surname at all. It was his given name. His full name was Mason Middleton. Middleton? Do you mean to say... Saints alive! The world is getting smaller and smaller. Like, it's getting closer. It's getting tight around here. The two cases are being connected with a thick rope. Mr. Ashley Middleton. Is it not the case that the brickmaker, Mr. Mason Middleton, was your father? Or father, okay. I was thinking of brothers, but yeah, I can see it, him being his father. I don't. I guess I could check it myself and see. So, Graydon is 27. We don't really have Mason's details right over here. Does this say his age? I don't remember. He did look old, from what I remember. As I believe I mentioned earlier. Your family history will have been thoroughly checked when you joined the civil service. And it really would take no time at all for the court to subpoena those records. The truth is, we have been illegally acquiring highly confidential government information. The truth is, we have been illegally acquiring highly confidential government information. And selling it on to McGilded in collaboration with your father. Alright. Another step forward. Let me do my victory stretching. Ooh, yes. Ooh, that feels good. Very, very good. Now, some good stretch right over here to go through this. Now, the new facts and evidence availed by the cross-examination of this witness all come together to reveal the truth. The truth, you say? That you collaborated with your father, Mr. Mason Middleton, in illegal dealings with Magnus McGilded. By dint of this music box, you mean, counsel? Yep. Stealing information being sent in government communications and sending on to McGilded. Mr. Graydon concocted this elaborate scheme of using 2 music box discs to encode the information. as presumably a safety measure against the information falling onto the wrong hands. And a very effective one. I shouldn't have given the scheme any credence whatsoever. But the deal with McGilded went sour, and the brickmaker met his end. Yeah, but before he was arrested, McGilded managed to temporarily dispose of the stolen disc at a pawnbroker. Then, having learned of the situation, you appeared at Windyback's 2 days ago. In an attempt to recover the 2 articles McGilded had placed in pawn there. But the attempt failed. One of the discs was seized by the police, and the other you never found. So that same night, you enlisted the help of the Skulking brothers and broke into the pawnbroker. This time, determined to recover the second disc. Are you suggesting that the second disc was inside the music box? Which could tell us that the second disc would be in Middleton's position at this point. That is one possibility. Unless he never found the disc to begin with, in which case,
Eh? We never knew nothing about that.
On the night that Minister Windyback was killed, the intruder to the pawnbroker touched on an item, and one item alone, the music box. It's rather ingeniously demonstrated using the 2 prints from the security camera, indeed. So the question that naturally begs an answering is this. Why was only that one article disturbed? The answer is obvious, because it contained the second disc, which the intruder was desperate to retrieve. Yeah. So before I was thinking, okay, since the box was still there, maybe Middleton right over here grabbed that music box and used it for a limited amount of time, for a short time, and then brought it back so that nobody would suspect that something was stolen. They had to use that, but it could very well be that Middleton never really needed to use that box to begin with. They only needed the disc from inside, which they thought it was inside. Since if it were to fall into the hands of the police, it would be proof of high treason. Well, Mr. Graydon, do you deny that all this actually began on that fateful night, 2 months ago? I refuse to accept any of this nonsense. Sir, there appears to be blood seeping through the sleeve of your jacket. What? Oh my. 2 nights ago, we know that 3 shots were fired at the scene of the crime in Windyback's pawnbroker. One took the life of the pawnbroker himself. One struck the pouch around Mr. Sholmes' waist. And the final bullet struck the calendar on the wall of the shop, having first pierced the armor of one of the intruders. Mr. Graydon, that wound on your arm that you seem to be trying to hide, it's a bullet wound, isn't it? He's got you now, me old China. Time to call it quits and croak, I reckon. Don't acknowledge my presence there under any circumstances whatsoever. Those were my terms, remember? And I paid you handsomely to comply. Clearly I was a fool to think I could trust some common backslump thieves. Fine. I admit it. I was there in Windyback's that night. I paid this pair 10 guineas to accompany me. And as you've noticed, I sustained an injury in the course of my adventures. Okay. But that is all. I admit to nothing more. Stealing government secrets, negotiating with Mr. McGilded. As God is my witness, I'm sure I recall nothing of the sort. Okay. It's not going to go down without a fight. Not until I can show hard evidence, I suppose. Cause we gotta keep in mind as well that we are also gonna have to solve the mystery of who shot Weedy back. It's not just about the government secrets, which that's a completely different crime in its own. Like, he would be found for that, but yeah, we are gonna find Milverton the culprit for that, but if we don't find him as the culprit for Weedy bags, then that's still trouble for Gino. Nevertheless, the defense has now established a crucial fact. Which is... well, we know that one bullet was fired from each of the 2 firearms we have in evidence. The bullet from the Skulking Brothers' gun hit the pouch around Mr. Sholmes' waist. And the bullet from Mr. Windyback's gun clearly must have been the one that caught Mr. Graydon on the arm. Indeed it must. We can rule out the possibility that the man shot himself. And that leads us to only one conclusion. Mr. Weedyback was shot by a third gun, which can only have been fired by the third intruder. Goodness! That's right, Mr. Graydon. The only person who could possibly have shot Mr. Weedyback that night is you!
Hold it!
You little upstart. You made a grave mistake when you summoned me here. What's that supposed to mean? Yes, as you rightly say, I was there at the pawnbrokers. I did my best to hide the fact, naturally. I had no intention of ruining the distinguished career I built for myself at the communication station. But did the thought never cross your mind? Did you never consider the possibility? What do you mean? What thought? What possibility? The possibility that if I was there at the scene, I may have witnessed a crucial moment. You see, this makes me a key witness in this case, and I have my hands firmly around the neck of your client. Right, okay. Are you suggesting... Saw it all. I saw the very moment that pickpocket girl pointed a gun at a poor, defenseless pawnbroker. Shot him. You... what? Okay. Order! 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 Well, it would seem we are finally entering the last act of this theatrical trial. Are we? Jesus, we've been in this trial for quite a while at this point. Could this be considered the longest day that we've ever had in a trial? Maybe. Mr. Graydon. Yes. I trust you're fully aware of the implications here. If it is shown that your claim is false, you will have incriminated yourself as a killer. Oh, I understand fully. Then I must ask you to give your formal testimony once more. You'll explain to the court precisely what you saw at the moment the defendant allegedly shot the victim. Nothing would give me greater pleasure. Okay, well, government secrets aside, You may have one more chance to tell us that, yes, it was not you who murdered Windyback. Maybe it was Gina. You'd have to convince us like really hard of this. While these ruffians were jostling with the broker, I was still near the entrance to the shop. When a Windyback threw Nash over the counter, I felt a sharp pain in my arm. I pursued the man, but he shut himself in the store. I could see him through the peephole in the door, though. The accused, in a black coat, shot the man in the back as he was trying to flee to safety. In a black coat? I saw the blood spatter all over the wretched girl. Then she tossed the gun out of the peephole, so I picked it up and made my escape. The fuck? Good gracious. This is quite extraordinary testimony. You claim, sir, under oath, to have clearly seen the defendant pulling the trigger. And you're telling us that this happened? Order! 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 I mean, first of all, did she not really have blood on her? I mean, do we really have, like, any photo of hers on the grounds? I don't think so. It wasn't my intention to testify in this way. But neither is it my intention to be found guilty of a murder I didn't commit. Say, see, my hand has been forced. I tell the truth now as an act of self-preservation. What a lot of crock. The truth. Until now, the prosecution was completely unaware of these details. Yes, well, sorry about that. Having shot me in the arm, the pawnbroker was then shot in the back by the accused. And as I said, she was showered in his blood. You say the blood splattered all over the accused's coat. Are you sure of that point? Oh yes, quite sure. The thing is, though, I feel like Milverton right over here, he could say that. I feel like I remember when we did our dance of deduction that he had blood on that overcoat of his as well, didn't he? I think. All over the black overcoat that pickpocket girl was wearing at the time. Really? Or maybe not, it was actually ripped, not that it had blood. If her coat could somehow be shown to harbor vestiges of blood, that would be conclusive evidence here. Such an investigation is entirely possible, my lord. Well? Only very recently, a German scientist has developed a technique to identify human blood. Bueno. So here's to true science. Not some amateurish detective's dubious foray into the world of chemistry.
There's nothing dubious about Hurley's work. His ideas are all sound.
Ideas are no use to us here. In science, as in law, theories must be proven before they stand. In Germany, the technique has already been employed in the courtroom as the basis of evidence. Scotland Yard has a small quantity of the chemical reagent used. With your lordship's permission, we could shatter all vestiges of doubt within minutes. Okay. Can we use the same thing for the bottles of wine that you're drinking, Zeeks?
This doesn't look good, Bueno.
Why not?
Well, we know, don't we? That there's blood all over front of Jeannie's coat.
Oh, hold on a second. Now I remember. Yeah, we found blood on her coat. When we were talking to her in jail.
They tested with their chemicals.
Oh God, you're right. I was forgetting what happened yesterday.
Don't move, Jeannie. I'm going to shoot.
And... that's not Mr. Windyback's blood. That stain is from 2 months ago. And that's Mr. Mason's blood, from when he was stabbed by McGilded, who was wearing the coat at the time. Oh, fuck. Well, if Gina is not gonna be accused of killing Mr. Windyback, she will definitely be accused of actually being the one responsible for killing Mason like 2 months ago. Well, as long as we can prove that this coat was McGilded's, if we don't do that, then they're gonna think that this is her overcoat, in which case she'll be accused of killing Mr. Mason again. Damn it! My lord, the defense objects to the test proposed by the prosecution. Overruled. Lord Van Zieks, make it so at once. With pleasure, my lord. While we wait the results, the defense may proceed with the cross-examination. Okay, in which case we definitely cannot wait. We gotta go at this fast. We gotta go through this fast before and before the code is finally analyzed and is brought back. Let's go, Ryunosuke. Once they find that blood on their overcoat, Gina will be... Counsel! Yes, my lord? Your cross-examination. Unless it may also be possible that the science that they've developed for identifying blood is not fairly developed. Is like similarly to what we have over here with the blood samples and all that. We can identify the blood color, but only through deduction can we deduce that these are this blood belongs to a particular somebody, only through deduction. Same case with this, which means that they are gonna accuse the Gina of killing Windyback because of the blood on the overcoat, even though that blood belonged to Mason like 2 months ago. They're gonna think that that blood belonged to Windyback. Ugh. Okay, we gotta go. Of course, my lord. If this cross-examination doesn't go well, if I don't manage to uncover some decisive evidence, a really compelling clue now, I have a very bad feeling about the outcome of this trial. Okay, now we have some time limit on this. Let's go. Let's see about okay, well, let's see about the presenting everything. I don't think that we can go for presenting evidence over here. Mr. Windyback emerged from the storeroom, I believe. Ringo and Nash were scouring the counter when he suddenly appeared and flew at them. He already had the revolver in his hand. Fortunately, I wasn't too close. I've been being so scared in all my life.
Yeah, you're just your regular mild-mannered buggers. That's all. We don't like violence.
Says the pair who carry a gun.
Well, it could be for protective reasons. What do you mean when you say you were near the entrance to the shop?
I was in the doorway, running my eyes over the shelves of forfeited items. Looking for the music box, of course. And the broker went for Nash in the first place. And then Ringo joined in, making it 2 against 1. So I assumed they could handle the situation. But I was wrong.
I was trying to help me little bro. but the old geezer chucked me over the blooming counter. So I pulled me gun on the old fellow, and that soon made him scarper. The pair of you setting up the poor defenseless pawnbroker together. Shame on you! Shame on both of you! Sorry, Gov. When the back threw Nash over the counter, I felt a sharp pain in my arm.
Hold it!
You mean that's the moment you were shot? Yes, though I didn't immediately realize what had happened, of course. Things crashed to the floor from the counter as the three men were brawling. And it was at exactly that moment that it happened. So I didn't hear the gunshot. And the bullet went to strike the calendar and the wall behind him. So it would appear. When I looked at my arm, I saw it was bleeding down. So I wrapped my handkerchief around it. Seeing as I couldn't explain what had happened to a doctor, I had no choice but to wait for it to heal. I didn't imagine it would still be bleeding 2 days later. Did Mr. Winneback intend to shoot you, do you think? Well, I don't imagine he even noticed I was there, to be honest. Perhaps the gun went off accidentally. Anyway, it didn't quite strike home. When I pulled my gun on him, he tried to shove me out of the way. And then he scarpered through that door out back. At which point, what did you do? I pursued the man, but he shut himself in the store. I could see him through the people in the door, though.
Hold it!
You mean you chased after him? I don't recall the reason why, but I ran after him to the back of the shop. And what about this peephole in the door you mentioned? Well, unsurprisingly, the storeroom's door is a solid job, made of stout wood. But there's a small opening in it about head height that lets you see what's in there from the outside. Actually, I should know that, shouldn't I? I looked through it myself that night. What about your burgling brothers? Did you see what went on through this peephole as well? Not likely, Guff. Didn't see nothing of the sort, Guff. I doubt these two buffoons were even aware of the peephole's existence. So the Skulking brothers were there, but they didn't see the killing of Mr. Winneback take place. Inside the storeroom, I could see the broker and that young girl standing there. The defendant? Yes, though neither of them noticed that I was looking. The girl raised her gun and pointed it straight at the man. And then, what did you see next? The accused, in a black coat, shot the man in the back as he was trying to flee to safety.
Hold it!
Yes, so when the crime was discovered, the defendant was found with a gun in her hand. But that was Mr. Winneback's gun, from which only a single bullet had been fired. And as we've already established, Mr. Graydon, that bullet was fired at you. Ah, but no. It wasn't the broker's gun that the pickpocket girl had when I saw her. Yes, the bullet from Winneback's gun grazed my arm. And yes, the Skulking's gun grounded the detective. But this was another gun entirely. A third gun. A third gun that you had, which somehow ended up in Gina's hand? And then he went back to you? Cause the gun that Gina had in her hands was Winneback's. There is no doubt about that. So the broker's gun was not the murder weapon. So clearly there had to be a third firearm involved. In other words, the accused must have had her own gun with her at the time. Her own gun. Okay. Well, where did it go?
Objection!
But no other gun was found at the scene.
harm yourself, Cons. Sorry. You must consider the events in order. At first I saw the broker and the girl glaring at each other, but then all of a sudden, the broker turned to run. It was at that moment that the little girl got a rat shot him in the back. Chilling image, I must say. Okay, and... saw the blood spill all over the wretched girl.
Hold it!
All over her? Yeah, well, you know, here's the thing. They are gonna examine the code and notice the blood on it. But... there's, like, Ryonosuke himself saw it. Even the police must have come to see Ashley on the ground and say that, well, I don't see like any blood on the overcoat. Like the blood that is on the overcoat, that will be noticeable if you like do someone else on it. But visibly speaking, he was not there. If somebody was shot at that point and Gina had blood on her overcoat, it should have still been visible. Yeah, through the people, I saw it clearly. Of course, the stains are invisible, what with the coat being such a dark color. But I assure you, that garment is sullied with the victim's blood. So, what are you saying? That the garment was washed? Or you're saying that the blood just blended in with the color of the coat and now it's unrecognizable? Oh, yeah, it's sullied with blood, that's for sure.
But it's not Mr. Windymax's blood, is it?
No, that's right. It's Mr. Mason's Milverton. It's Mr. Mason Milverton's blood from when Gilda stabbed him 2 months ago.
So annoying. If they only accept Ernie's chemical analysis, we could prove that.
But they won't. So, unfortunately, we cannot use it as evidence to support our case.
Bother.
And then she tossed the gun out at the people. So I picked it up and made me escape. Okay, well, what? Okay, I guess one reason why Gina would even throw that gun out the other people in the first place was because, like, if we are to think that Gina is truly the accused, they had to get rid of the gun so that she wouldn't be suspected. So they would throw it away. But in which case, why would she have Windyback's gun in her hand to tell us that actually she shot Windyback with that gun? Why would she still have Windyback's gun in her hand, like, before going unconscious? Unless she wanted to dispose of Windyback's gun as well, but she ended up passing out? That's right. After the broker fell to the floor, she started walking over. Over where exactly? In the direction of the storeroom door, to where I was watching. Of course, I quickly retreated. And then, the girl dropped the gun through the people onto the floor on my side of the door. But why on earth would she do such a thing? I couldn't tell you, but as she was hoping to distance herself from the murderer. Without thinking, I went and picked it up. I suppose I was worried about just leaving it there, in case any more tragedies took place. So it was you, in fact, who took the third gun from the scene of the crime. Yes, it was yours truly. I left the clear up to my lackeys and left. Clear up? We made a bit of a mess around the counter, so Mr. Whistle and Flute up there told us to titty up.
He thinks he's our blooming mum sometimes.
Well, I was paying you enough, by God. Ugh. Tell me, Mr. Raiden, when you left the pawnbrokery that night, Was it by any chance with the second disc in your jacket pocket? You're like a bull at the gate, aren't you? Oh, okay, okay, hold on a second. What are you guys doing here? Gregson, what are you doing? Something wrong, Sunshine? That should be my line. What the fuck are you doing? Like, trying to kill your witnesses. You do realize you were just finally shaking Mr. Skulking, right? Blimey, this dude's a bit of an hooligan, ain't he? What was going on just now? I saw him. He grabbed me whistle. Why the blazes, he said. Did he mention the fire gun when we got you down the station? And why didn't you? Cause we didn't know nothing about it. Why the flaming people in the door? Sorry about that. I can be prone to lose my rag sometimes. Not hurt, are you? Blimey. See the way he's looking at me? I'm telling you, this steak gives me the willies. That was strange. The inspector doesn't normally get quite as worked up as that. He won't normally grab someone.
No, that wasn't like Rexy at all. He's normally all sweetness and nice. No matter what I say to him.
Yeah, well, that's particularly... yeah, it's as Ryonosuke says right over here. I was gonna say the same thing. It's a special case. Cause you are a special little one, Iris. Let me just grab your cheeks. You're so cute.
Well, anyway, definitely out of character.
Oh. Requesting your lordship's permission to interrupt the cross-examination. Oh, God. Here's the code. Explain yourself, officer. I have the results of the test that was ordered earlier, my lord. Oh, the blood on the accused's overcoat. Thank you, officer. Very well. The cross-examination is hereby temporarily suspended. Ah, great. I presume you have no objection, counsel. Well, do I even have a choice, my lord? Well, there you have it. The report, please, Inspector. Yes, sir. Traces of human blood were found over the coat of the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade. From the extent of the stains, it would appear that they were the result of spattering following a gunshot wound. And the report. Goodness me! See? What did I tell you?
Objection!
Hold on. The blood on that coat is not Mr. Weedyback's. What on earth makes you say that, Consul? Uh-oh. Oh god, don't tell me that. We're gonna go for that kind of mistake where the judge is gonna ask, well, why didn't you tell us before, Consul? Are you hiding information from us? Well, hopefully that's not gonna be like that. Because we definitely could have said this earlier. The coat originally belonged to Magnus McGilded. Just before his coat was deposited at Winnieback's, McGilded has fatally stabbed Mr. Mason Littleton. So the blood on that old coat is the blood of the brickmaker from the omnibus case.
Objection!
Well, the dead cannot speak. Isn't that right, anybody's friend? Sorry? 2 months ago in this very courtroom, did you not argue fervently for McGilded's innocence? And yet, now that the man is dead, you brand him as a murderer? Your conduct shatters any shred of respect you may have earned for yourself in this country. No. Zeke's respect. It is being lost. I call it a bally disgrace. Treachery, that's what it is.
How to determine whether the blood of that coat is 2 months old or not? Even a scalescope couldn't help the answer to that problem pop out. It can't be done. We used Mr. Sholmes' specially formed...
Mr. Sholmes is a detective, not a chemist.
Well, it is debatable what he does in his spare time. You can call him a chemist at some points. If he does tea. Would he put such faith in a chemical formula devised by me, for example, when I'm a communications officer?
I held up Piotrowski, the starving boy, and he ran away crying. Sherlock Sholmes is barely more than a figment of the public's imagination. His name carries no weight in this court. No weight at all.
How could he say that? How can you say such bad things about my Sherlock Sholmesy?
Victory is sweet indeed. This proves that my testimony is the whole truth, from start to finish.
How do we arrive at such a conclusion, sir?
As the witness said, Nakia's coat was spattered with the blood of the victim. The only way Mr. Graydon could possibly have known that fact is if he saw it happen. In other words, his testimony is solid, and the conclusion is singular. He was the accused who shot the victim in this case. That is the whole truth.
My lord! Been a long battle, this one. But this old war horse has something to say now, if you please.
Great. Here comes the jury going in for the guilty verdict here.
Mr. Foreman?
So this moment, sir.
The squadron has reached its final decision. Ready, men? All for one now.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Ugh. That guilty explosion. Like on the scale. It's similar to Radionoska's heart exploding at this point.
Oh, it would appear that, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, have reached a unanimous verdict.
The defense has consistently failed to unpick this witness's testimony. Here's to any attempt you may make at unpicking the jury's decisions being equally successful. Can't believe it. After I've come so far. Why is it all unraveling on me so fast? It is quite rough. It is something that is gonna happen to you a lot in your career, Donosuke. But you gotta fight back! I say, you gotta fight back until the end. How very distressing. To be held in such low esteem. Wouldn't you agree, Miss Naruto? Officer? You delivered a report now. That'll be all, thank you. It occurs to me with some irregularity, Mr. Naruto. That scientific truths are determined not by science, but by none other than the human mind. The human mind. I know that voice. Am I going mad? No. It couldn't be. Could it be that that person is who I think it is? Mr. Sholmes! Sholmesy! Oh my goodness! I surely did not expect that. Look at that. What is the meaning of this? Order! 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 What business do you have here, detective? The last I heard, you were recuperating in hospital. Yes, well, I would be, had I not been set upon an errand. What errand? Errand?
Hurley, it's really you. You know I can last.
Yes. Good day, Iris. I appear to be rather late to rise. My apologies. You are just in time. Oh, this surely is a spin on a tragedy saved by a person in the last second. This is quite a nice twist. Now, my lord, if you will humor me. In what manner, sir? I have something of great importance I wish to give to the young lawyer out there. I need no more than 5 minutes. Would you be so kind as to spare us the time? What say you to this, Lord Von Six? Again, we are like the judge is being really cool with this. Like, if something like this were to happen, like realistically speaking, like the other guards would just grab this man and just toss him out of the courtroom. But we're gonna let him be. Cause it's Sherlock Sholmes, yo! This trial has taken many hours of the court's trial. This trial has taken many hours of the court's time. Having spent so long already. Exactly. Having spent so long already, we don't want to go wasting any more precious time. As I was saying, having spent so long already, it would seem churlish to deny the defense a mere 5 minutes. Very well then, counsel, you have 5 minutes. My dear fellow, I apologize for my tardy arrival. Yeah, I would say that it's perfect. Sholmes? Sholmes, are you alright? Ah, alright. I'm all wrong. Sorry? I've only just managed to summon the strength to stand, man. I asked the judge for 5 minutes. But I fear even that might prove too much for me. Pray forgive me, should I pass out. Oh. Okay. Okay, well, let's make this discussion as short as possible. Knowing Sholmes, it may be the truth. Hell, like, we see him act like his usual self, but he's probably mustering all his strength to even just do all these poses and such. He's truly gonna pass like any second now.
Hurley, this place is full of idiots. None of them can see how wonderful your chemical blood analysis is.
Well, that concoction of mine was really just a bit of spot to assist me in my investigations. I never took the trouble to refine it for appraisal by the scientific community. An oversight on my part. Yeah, well, next time you should totally do that. Like, right after this case. Right. Modesty? Surely not. But enough of that. I am here to give you this, my dear fellow. What's that? A lavender furoshiki wrapping? This must be from Susato. A living present from Miss Susato. From Miss Susato? Well, how come she never gave us this before, though? If possible, matters were to be settled without me giving you this. Those were her instructions when she asked me to do her this favor. I don't understand. Miss Sato foresaw today's events, I believe. She knew that the culprit would attempt to escape justice by means of both devious and underhand. And that you, Miss No, fighting fairly as you are wont to do, would find yourself in considerable peril. At every moment of crisis, you were to be given this small parcel. Those were the dear lady's instructions. Yeah, well, she surely predicted. Like, she was 100% accurate on this. A living present from Sato-san. Whatever could it be? So, what is this?
Oh, it's the machine I made.
Oh. Oh! That device! I remember it.
Look, I use this. It's my latest invention.
What? What is that?
I call it the Clap Flapomat. You can make a cat flap for a little furry friend like Wacky in seconds. What's he up to?
The fuck are we even supposed to use this on, though? What was she even thinking? Miss Sato muttered the following word before she left. I am a failure. I don't deserve to be a judicial assistant. Hey! I know that Susato is not here, but I do not agree with this, like, one bit. Like... What? Can you usually say something like that? You really are the best judicial assistant in the world.
Well, that's extremely flattering. But I'm sorry to say that I've been a complete failure.
Whatever did she mean by that, Miss Sholmes? That night, when you left Windybags in pursuit of the thieves, Miss Sato made use of this contraption for a certain purpose. Eh? That is your answer, dear fellow. No, not at all cryptic then. That night? Wait a minute. Could it be that... the storeroom Oh. Oh! Holy crap! So she used it on that particular door. Okay. Sato-san used this cup up on that night? But why? Okay. I think I may actually have an idea over here. I think that now we have the perfect evidence to contradict something in Milverton's testimony. Your 5 minutes is over. We are out of time already? I am grateful to you for affording us that brief recess, Mr. Reaper. Mr. Reaper. I need no thanks, Detective. After all, I am a fan of you. I mean, the die is cast. Is it really? The jurors are anonymous in their leanings. No doubt my learned friend will consider a summation examination. But any attempt to alter the verdict now would be utterly futile. I wonder... Miss Naruto. Yes? The rest is down to you, dear fellow. What is your plan? The rest is down to me. I need to be careful here. If I make a wrong move, the trial will end badly. My lord, the defense requests Summation examination. For the cross-examination. Time to be... Do I really want a summation examination? Can't we just go back to the cross-examination that we had before and present what we have to present? Like, for one of his statements? Because Middleton did mention a particular something in his testimony that would be of good use to me, so... Can we? For the cross-examination.
Objection!
The jurors have spoken. Protocol dictates that you may not cross-examine a new witness now.
Objection!
The defense is not asking for the cross-examination of a new witness. Rather, to continue with one of an existing witness. That is true. Like, okay, maybe this is another loophole in the law system, in the law and such. Like, it says that while the jurors have given their verdicts and such, you cannot offer a new cross-examination. But it never stated anything about resuming an old cross-examination. What? It would appear that a very important detail has escaped your attention, Mr. Reaper. My lord. Requesting your lordship's permission to interrupt the cross-examination. Thank you, officer. Very well. The cross-examination is hereby temporarily suspended. I presume you have no objection, counsel. No, my lord. It is similar to what Iris did before.
So nobody can say anything then. If you're not asked to resume his cross-examination of Mr. Graydon,
The court is obliged to allow it. This is absurd. I will remind those present that this is my courtroom. I concur that the defense is entirely within its rights to request a continuation of the cross-examination. However, I will not permit an unremitting protraction of these proceedings. Therefore, I have decided to afford the defense one final opportunity in concluding the cross-examination. One final opportunity. Okay, gotcha. Counsel, you must choose but one statement from the witness's testimony, and but one piece of evidence to present in support of your argument against it. Got it, Judge. Single chance to present evidence. If following that, the situation remains unchanged, I shall move to adjudication. Is that clear, counsel? You will not press the witness any further. Got it, Santa Claus. My lord. Yes, my lord. A single statement and a single piece of evidence. Most generous. Well then, Miss Naruto. It's high time I fell in a dead faint. I leave this in your capable hands. Mr. Sholmes! Okay, well, good night, sweet prince. And don't worry, he's gonna be fine. To stand so insociably before the court in a state of such high fever. Either the man has extraordinary strength of mind or an extraordinary lack of feeling. Or both. I imagine he's feeling very little now. The detective is sleeping soundly in one of the antechambers. Strike a man when he's down, why don't you? Well done, counsel. Are you fully prepared? Yes. It is time we finish this, Ryonosuke. The good old-fashioned way. One statement, one piece of evidence. Coming up right now. I won't let Mr. Sholmes down. or Iris. And I won't waste this final chance that Sato-san has given me. And we're definitely going to be doing this for you as well, Gino.